It Was a Thing on TV.
Total Red Man has ever done something like this to me! It's, time!
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the dregs of humanity!
Minisode 15, submission 2221. Mr. Delicious. Mr. Delicious was an advertising campaign for Rax Restaurants in 1992. Guys, what the hell is this?
I was just about to ask you.
I thought you were going to say, what the heck is a Rax? I've never heard of it.
Rax is one of those legendary defunct burger chains alongside Burger Chef and, well...
Not defunct, my friend.
Wait, Burger Chef isn't defunct?
No. Rax is not defunct.
Oh, I thought it was defunct. I haven't seen a Rax in forever, though.
Well,
I think the last time I saw a Rax, I was on the road moving from Arizona to Florida, and it was in the middle of Texas. I may be wrong on that, but...
No, Rax is still around. Not many around, but Rax is still just on life support.
Ah.
Well, the reason we're bringing this episode up is, in 1982, Rax Restaurants was facing bankruptcy, and they thought, we need to have a clever ad campaign that will make people talk about Rax. And guess what they came up with, guys?
Oh, they came up with an ad campaign that made people talk, just not in the right way, probably.
No. They came up with a cartoon character called Mr. Delicious. And so, let's watch this commercial. Are you ready for this?
That's a loaded question if ever I heard one.
Okay, here we go.
We need as much Mr. Delicious in our lives as possible.
Hello, I'm Mr. Delicious, the new spokesman for Rax Restaurants. My job? To encourage you to enjoy tasty, affordable meals in a more mature dining environment. I know what you're thinking. He's a cartoon. And cartoons are mostly for people who wet their pants. But not Mr. D. He's a special cartoon for adults. And Mr. Delicious always carries this briefcase. Contents? Watch for me and visit Rax. Dickety-dee.
Dickety-dee!
He's a special cartoon for adults.
He is a special cartoon for adults.
Yeah, does that mean we can't, watch him until after dark or after the sun sets? Is that what makes him an adult?
I don't know.
It's like, you don't look like Rick and Morty to me.
Okay, we got another ad.
Hello there. I'm Mr. Delicious. Did you know the value menu at Rax features lots of adult-sized delectables for only 99 cents? That's right, and that's fortunate. You see, Mr. Delicious is, well, a little overextended. Perhaps the Rax executives aren't paying him enough to compromise his integrity. On the other hand, you can't eat integrity, but you certainly can eat a hearty roast beef sandwich for 99 cents. Dickety-dee.
I want to put in here the Adam Sandler line. Who are the ad geniuses who thought this up, or something to that extent?
Oh, from the SNL with Jerry Seinfeld?
Yeah, from Stand Up and Win. Because, seriously, who thought this would be a good idea?
Who are the ad wizards who came up with this one?
I don't get it. I mean, you have this deadpan milquetoast guy with the briefcase extolling the virtues of Rax's extra value meal.
Hold up, guys. I was going to play because the Rax people made a promotional video about Mr. Delicious.
Oh, boy.
I'm talking about how great this campaign was in their minds, but I found this ad here. Okay. No. It's called Mr. Delicious TV Ad 3, parentheses, the one where he talks about his vasectomy.
Oh, God.
That was the worst episode of Friends ever, the one with the vasectomy.
All right.
Well, hello, Mr. D again. Our subject? Value Express combos at the Rax drive-thru. These tasty delights are priced in low, even dollar amounts, so there's no change. That's just grand, because Mr. Delicious just had some rather delicate surgery. If there's no change, he doesn't have to squirm so much to put it back in his pocket, now does he? He just grabs his combo and drives ever so slowly over the speed bump. Dickety-dee.
Now, they do say that prices include tax. So depending on what state you're in, it's not necessarily an even amount. So you still have to be very careful. And then there's the matter of, okay, you have a $4 meal. All I have is a $5. What are you going to do, Mr. D? What are you going to do?
All right. Are we ready for this Mr. Delicious promotional video?
Well, I think beforehand, we haven't even described him.
Oh, yeah.
He's like a middle-aged gentleman. We mentioned he's carrying a briefcase, which actually has Mr. D on it. What
is in the briefcase?
Yeah, he never says.
I guess we'll never know.
We'll never know what was in his briefcase.
I mean, he's made references to his divorce, so maybe there's divorce papers in there. I don't know. But also, he's wearing glasses. He wears a bow tie. He's monochrome. He's black and white. So he is like literally like the cheapest type of cartoon character you can draw. And honestly, he looks a lot like David Doyle.
Yep,
he does.
I was going to say he looks like Johnny Olsen, but yeah, David Doyle works.
Johnny, he's got a Johnny Olsen look to him too, but yeah, I see more David Doyle in him. So yeah, now I think we're ready to partake in the video you have lined up.
Okay, here we go. This is from YouTube user Johnny Rollins. Johnny spelled Jonny.
Here we go.
He's a smart aleck. He's very quick-witted, but I like that in a man.
He gives me chills.
I'm digging him.
Who is Mr. Delicious?
Well, Mr. Delicious is the new spokesperson for Rax. Given we're an adult fast food place, we thought we wanted an adult character and person to be talking to our customers. Mr. Delicious shares the same kind of problems and difficulties we do and casts them in a humorous and enjoyable light.
Hello, I'm Mr. Delicious, the new spokesman for Rax Restaurants. My job? To encourage you to enjoy tasty, affordable meals in a more mature dining environment. I know what you're thinking. He's a cartoon. And cartoons are mostly for people who wet their pants. But not Mr. D.
Remember, he's a special cartoon, just for adults.
And Mr. Delicious always carries this briefcase. Content?
Which we will never know what's in his briefcase.
Dickety-dee.
Mr. Delicious is a controversial character, but controversy attracts attention. And for every bad reaction...
Oh, I see. He's a graduate from the Eric Bischoff Business School.
Well, I usually don't like spokesmen, but I like Mr. D.
I don't know if everybody understands him, but I think everybody likes him.
I like his line about he's not just for the people that wet their pants anymore. I like that part.
The one characteristic of Mr. Delicious that will enable him to cut through is that Mr. Delicious speaks honestly to the kinds of problems and issues that we all face. Nobody else out there is doing that.
Oh, nobody!
Okay, Mr. Delicious recommends some twisty fries and a shake after therapy.
Mr. Delicious...
Mr. Delicious appreciates the Rax value menu ever since his ex-wife took him to the cleaners.
If you
tasted Mr. Delicious's cooking, you'd be eating at Rax every day, too.
Oh.
Mr. Delicious is, granted, very different from any spokesperson I've ever seen. But I think he's going to help update our image. And with the support of our employees, I think Mr. Delicious is going to make a real difference to our company.
Who? Yeah, this is what we want to know. Who hired Mr. Delicious? We're going to get an answer to what idiot hired him.
I guess you could say I hired Mr. Delicious.
Oh, you're the guy.
Really
Bill Welter, Executive VP of Marketing for Rax.
I looked at over 50 agencies, and there was one that stood head and shoulders above all the others, and that was Deutsch in New York, a relatively young but very, very creative agency who, in my opinion, is producing the best advertising in the United States today.
The Deutsch New York?
Mike, do some research.
I'm doing some research.
But, okay, he said 50 agencies were responsible for coming up with a campaign, and that was the best one.
Oh, boy.
If that was the best one, I hate to see what the others were.
And looking at Deutsch advertisement agency, Deutsch New York specifically, it's called.
Yeah.
They have a lot of big clients.
They do.
Microsoft, PNC Bank, Reebok, IKEA.
These are not slouches. These are like the original Mad Men. I mean, their work goes back to 1969, and of course, it was founded by David Deutsch, and his son now runs it. You know, little guy, you may have heard of him, Donnie Deutsch.
Yes, that's what I was like. What? The company?
Wait. You're talking about Donnie Deutsch, former Match Game contestant?
Yes.
Not even joking.
Yes.
All right.
That Donnie Deutsch.
Well, also, he did have a show on CNBC or MSNBC, one or the other.
One of the two. I think it was MSNBC back in the day. And he's frequently on Morning Joe these days, so. But yeah, this executive of VP of Marketing for Rax, let's see him try to sweet talk his way into convincing the people how great this campaign is.
And through their process, which was a very detailed, analytical, as well as qualitative process by visiting stores, talking to managers, talking to employees, and spending a lot of time trying to understand the positioning of Rax. And out of that positioning came the development through their creative process of Mr. Delicious, who was absolutely
word salad,
going to
word
go
salad.
down as one of the classic
word salad
in advertising.
I'm just making some words together.
Hello there. I'm Mr. Delicious. Did you know the value menu at Rax features lots of adult-sized delectables for only 99 cents? That's right, and that's fortunate. You see, Mr. Delicious is, well, a little overextended. Perhaps the Rax executives aren't paying him enough to compromise his integrity. On the other hand, you can't eat integrity, but you certainly can eat a hearty roast beef sandwich for 99 cents. Dickety-dee.
Most of the time I eat at Rax alone, but now it's more like eating with a friend.
Oh, a friend.
Of the
A
decision
friend.
to go to a fast food restaurant.
A friend.
Within 5 minutes of that visit. So you have to be at the top of people's minds. And getting controversy and getting people talking about Mr. D is what it's all about.
I'm feeling a deep, profound respect for that Mr. Delicious guy.
I would wear a jacket like Mr. D's to formal function shoes. Mr. D's getting all the babes. That's my complaint.
I think if I wasn't married already, Mr. Delicious would be my man.
Yeah, sure he would.
So now the question
It's important
becomes...
that people talk about Rax.
Why?
You come home at night and you're having dinner with your family, you say, honey, you know, I heard the darndest commercial on the radio today.
Well, you know, usually I go to the can during the commercials, but now that Mr. D's on,
What?
I just hold it.
I
usually don't order fries, but Mr.
Telling it like it is! Yeah!
I want to grow up just to be like Mr. Delicious.
Oh, no. You do not want to grow up to be Mr. Delicious.
He is not living his best life.
He is living a sad existence, kid. He could do so much better. Hey, Whammy.
I want to be a depressed divorcee who had a vasectomy. Yay!
Oh, neat.
Oh,
On the Rax
jeez.
business, we went out to the stores. We spent days on the road with the marketing folks
Oh,
at Rax.
he was Matt Howard,
We talked to the
account director
customers.
at
We
Deutsch.
worked behind the counters. We worked the fry stations. We worked back in the prep. We worked the salad bar. After spending days in the stores talking to customers and talking to crew, we went back and developed a strategy that really, out of which grew this Mr. Delicious idea. And the beautiful thing about Mr. Delicious
This is
he
the
can
best
play up
they could
Rax
come up
strengths
with.
and make them very leverageable, and takes Rax weaknesses and converts those again into leverageable strengths for that adult consumer.
Oh, and now we're going to hear a bunch of radio
I'm Mr.
spots.
Delicious, the new cartoon spokesman for Rax Restaurants. My job? To encourage you to enjoy tasty, affordable meals in a more mature
Let's put a
dining
camera
environment.
on
You
the
see,
dashboard
Mr. Delicious
and just
doesn't
play the
appreciate
radio ads.
unnecessary commotion while he's eating. It brings out the dangerous, hostile side in Mr. D. At least that's what his analyst says. Anyway, at Rax, Mr. Delicious can enjoy a tasty sandwich or salad without bright yellow formica upsetting his stomach. He can rest his feet on carpet, since Rax has confidence that Mr. D won't drop his twisty fries. He can lose himself in a cheap romance novel without his elbows sticking to the table. And Mr. Delicious always leaves Rax with a few bucks left. That's just grand, because his analyst charges a lot to keep Mr. D's hostility all locked up. So if you're looking for a stress-free fast food alternative, visit Rax. and tell him Mr. Delicious sent you. Dickety-dee.
Rex, you can eat here.
Oh my God.
Really? You can
Another
eat here?
beautiful thing
Good,
about
because
Mr.
I wanted to go to
Delicious
the
is he
bathroom
works
there.
in every medium. He works naturally in radio. He works in outdoor. He works in POP, ROP. He works on the cash register tape. He works on your tray liners. He can do it all.
Who's the
So
real?
who is the real Mr. Delicious?
I think he's probably Scottish in a former life, and that's like his family plaid, and he wears it with pride.
Mr. Delicious reminds me of my dad.
I find Mr. Delicious very attractive. I don't know why he thinks
What?
he's big boned.
His name is Mr. Delicious, which is an immediate cue that we're not in the realm of
We
the
have Greg
serious, in
Donato,
realm
the
of
associate creative
humorous,
director at Deutsch.
And, it immediately sends a signal to the viewer or the listener or the reader that this is something,
Who would find Mr. Delicious
that's gonna make
attractive?
you laugh. This is going to be a rewarding communication. There's a certain component of his character that is.
I could make a
just
Pete Davidson
fed
joke here, but I'm not
he's
going
been through the
to.
mill.
Mike.
He's been around the proverbial block. He's made
I'm sorry,
some
that was an
questionable
involuntary
career
motion.
choices. Mr. Delicious even tells us about a stint as an aluminum siding salesman. He tells us that he has had some marital problems, that maybe his home life has its share of problems, and he's got financial woes. He's got all the kinds of problems that we relate to as people.
Well, hello. Remember me? I'm Mr. Delicious. Did you know the Rack's value menu features a full array of adult-sized delectables for only 99 cents each? That's right. And Mr. Delicious can really appreciate a bargain like that.
Oh.
After all, he's still trying to recover from that bout with midlife crisis in '89.
Oh.
Fortunately, he was able to sell the Porsche back to the dealer. But much to his chagrin, Mr.
You know, I
Delicious
love how he
discovered that
talks in the
custom-designed
third person
hair
like
weaves
he's
are
The Rock.
non-refundable. Same for the rotating disco glitter ball he installed.
You
in the
think The
basement.
Rock got his inspiration
And
from
that
his
vacation
character
ticket
from
Bora
Mr.
Bora for those
Delicious?
two young friends. Well, that left Mr.
What do you think, Chico?
Fulfilled. Unlike the robust sandwiches, baked potatoes,
I got
and refreshing
nothing.
drinks on the Rack's value menu for only 99 cents each. Dickety-dee.
Value menu available at participating restaurants. Rex, you can eat here.
You know, instead
You'll
of just
notice he
randomly
speaks in
driving
third.
around, wouldn't it make sense to actually have an image of a Rax, like pulling into a Rax? This doesn't make any sense, though.
But how could we the people, help Mr. Delicious?
Pay for his therapy.
That would be a great idea, but unfortunately he's a fictional character. So, how can we help him?
Rax is in a turnaround situation. It's not easy being a cartoon spokesman. We can help Mr. D by putting up the POP and getting behind
The
him. guy
Chief
needs some
Operating
help. He's just a
Officer of
little
Rex,
guy.
Mike Fitzpatrick.
And I know he's got some controversial.
No relation
sides
to
to him,
Ryan,
but I think
probably.
we can have a lot of fun with him. Mr. D's an honest guy. He's got a headache. He's going to tell you.
To a fault.
He just had an operation that hurts.
Mr. Delicious is obnoxious. I can't believe he says that on TV.
Finally, something truthful!
Hey, lighten up. Mr. Delicious is only a cartoon.
Oh, F you. Well, hello.
I think it's kind of like a Simpsons for grown-ups.
What?
Okay,
We
Mr.
just-
Delicious, hold on. Mr. Delicious prefers eating at Rax because big clouds and bright yellow formica upset his stomach.
Way to stick it to McDonald's, Rex. I'm sure they're shaking in their boots.
We just flew in from Albany, New York just to visit Mr. D.
Mr. Delicious never lets disapproving looks from his companions keep him from going back for large fries.
Go Pacers!
Yeah, it's probably an Indiana ad.
Well, obviously.
Mr. Delicious doesn't have to worry about throwing his drink at the referee because he can replace it for free at Rax.
Free refills!
Don't worry, Reggie Mill, if you throw your drink at your referee, you can replace it for free at Rax.
Oh, sorry, I threw my drink at you, Rick Smits. I can get a free refill at Rax.
I'm going slow over the speed bumps.
Mr. Delicious appreciates the Rax value menu after a weekend in Reno.
Don't we all?
When Mr. Delicious has doubts about his manhood, he goes for a beef, bacon, and cheddar.
Don't we all?
Well, I think he's
exactly.
great, just because of his sense of humor.
Knowing that a bus could run over him at any time, Mr. Delicious can always rationalize a chocolate shake.
That's depressing.
If Mrs. Delicious can't appreciate him, I will.
Oh.
Help Mr. Delicious. He'll help you. We believe it.
Okay, that's creepy. I can't unsee that.
Mr. Delicious has a pumpkin head.
Dickety-dee.
Oh my god, that was so bad.
Well, let's talk about Rex. Did this really work out for him?
No.
I'm sorry. That was a rhetorical question. I was trying to hold in my laughter. No, it didn't. At its peak, Rex had over 500 locations in 38 states, as well as 2 locations in Guatemala, of all places. But starting about 1992, it started slipping downhill, and really, after Mr. Delicious got introduced later in the month of August of 1992, it was like an avalanche. It was just like sliding out of control. And 3 months after the campaign began, 3 months, so we're talking about November of 1992, Rax filed for bankruptcy.
Oh.
They did hang around for a little while, though. In 1999, they did have 150 franchises with 450 locations. So that's not bad. But unfortunately, nowadays, you're lucky if there's one within about a day's driving distance. There are only 8 locations left.
Okay, so where are the 8 locations, or do you know?
6 are in Ohio. As nice as it sounds to go visit one, the closest location to me is probably about 3 hours away. It's about half an hour-ish southeast of Columbus. That location is Lancaster, Ohio, on, I believe it's US 33. Circleville, Ohio. Chillicothe, Ohio. Coming soon! It says coming soon. They're making a comeback.
Yes.
They're going to have their 8th location. They've got 7 now, but coming soon. Chillicothe, Ohio. And Ironton, Ohio, which is actually where the franchise is located. And then we have West Union, Ohio. These are all south of Columbus. This is getting to the area which I call the land that time forgot. Georgetown, Ohio, which looks like it's a little bit outside of Cincinnati. And then the 2 non-Ohio locations, Harlan, Kentucky, southeastern part of the state, and Joliet, Illinois. Nothing in Indiana, nothing that connects Ohio and Kentucky to Illinois. That's kind of weird, but 8 locations, and like I said, I'm definitely the closest. Next time I'm down in Columbus, I might have to take a trip down there.
Yeah, you might have to.
Might have to dress up as Mr. Delicious and be like, hey, I just had a divorce. My vasectomy failed. Dickety-dee. Give me a 99-cent roast beef sandwich.
Well, what else do we have to say about Mr. Delicious?
Fast food companies, take note. If you want to do a new campaign, do not use this as a model for your campaign.
No.
Advertise for the kids. I totally get that. But really, how many advertising campaigns in the history of civilization that have had a main character who is like a 50-year-old divorcee who's depressed and divorced or going through a divorce? How many of them have worked? Well, apparently the number is 0 unless there's one that we're missing.
Nope.
Just don't do it. That's the takeaway.
And in 1992, Mr. D was a thing on TV. So that's going to do it for this minisode, and we'll see you next time right here on It Was a Thing on TV. Wow!
Dickety-dee.